One of the greatest admirals in history is Admiral Horatio Nelson of the British Royal Navy. Here's why he stands out. Admiral Horatio Nelson, 1758-1805. Nationality, British famous. 4. Victory at the Battle of Trafalgar, 1805. Why he's considered. One of the greatest naval genius. Nelson revolutionized naval tactics, favoring aggressive and decisive actions. At Trafalgar, he famously broke traditional line-of-battle tactics to deliver a crushing blow to the combined French and Spanish fleets. Charismatic leadership. His presence inspired extraordinary loyalty. His men were willing to follow him into the most dangerous battles. Victories against the odds. He consistently won battles even when outnumbered, including the Battle of the Nile, 1798, and Copenhagen, 1801. Strategic impact. His death at Trafalgar marked not only a personal tragedy, but also ensured British naval supremacy for over a century. Honorable mentions Admiral Yi Sun-sin, Korea. Never lost a battle despite being vastly outnumbered. Especially notable in the Imjin War against Japan in the late 1500s. Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, USA. Key figure in the Pacific Theater during WWII, commanding Allied naval forces and orchestrating victories like Midway. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, Japan. Strategist behind the Pearl Harbor attack. Though controversial, he was a brilliant naval mind. Admiral Raymond Spruance, USA. Led U.S. forces to victory at Midway and Philippine Sea, known for calm, calculated command. Let's dive deeper into these legendary admirals and their legacy. Each one earned their place in naval history through brilliant strategy, fearless leadership, and a lasting impact on the world. Admiral Horatio Nelson, Britain, Master of Naval Warfare Key Battles, Battle of the Nile, 1798. Nelson trapped and annihilated Napoleon's fleet in Aboukir Bay, cutting off French supply lines to Egypt. Battle of Copenhagen, 1801. He defied orders, famously putting a telescope to his blind eye and saying, "I see no signal," to press the attack and force Denmark to surrender. Battle of Trafalgar, 1805. Outnumbered 33-27, he shattered the French-Spanish fleet, preventing Napoleon from invading Britain. Elevated the Royal Navy to the world's dominant sea power. Known for the phrase, "England expects that every man will do his duty." Died in the hour of his greatest triumph at Trafalgar, becoming a national hero and legend. Admiral Yi Sun-sin, Korea. The indomitable defender key battles, Battle of Myeongnyang, 1597. With only 13 ships against a Japanese fleet of over 300, he used clever tactics and the narrow straits currents to win. Battle of Hansen Island, 1592. Introduced the crane wing formation to devastating effect. Never lost a single naval battle in over 20 major engagements. Designed and deployed the Turtle Ship, Geobuksion, an early ironclad with spiked armor. Considered a national hero in Korea and a brilliant naval commander on par with Nelson. Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, USA, architect of victory in the Pacific Key Battles Battle of Midway, 1942. Decoded Japanese plans and orchestrated a surprise counterattack that destroyed 4 Japanese carriers. Island hopping campaign led coordinated efforts across the Pacific, bypassing strongholds and isolating Japanese forces. Unified American naval forces into a coordinated and aggressive force. His calm, strategic mind under pressure helped turn the tide of WWII in the Pacific. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, Japan. The reluctant warrior key actions. Attack on Pearl Harbor, 1941. Strategic. Success, but a strategic miscalculation long-term. Battle of Midway, 1942. His fleet suffered a major defeat due to U.S. code-breaking and tactical errors. A brilliant strategist who foresaw the industrial might of the U.S., but was duty-bound to serve Japan. Died. In 1943, when American forces, aware of his travel plans through code-breaking, shot down his plane in Operation Vengeance. Admiral Raymond Spruance, USA, The quiet genius key battles, Battle of Midway, 1942, took bold, calculated risks that led to decisive victory. Battle of the Philippine Sea, 1944, known as the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot, due to the massive loss of Japanese aircraft, not as publicly celebrated as Nimitz, but deeply respected for his intellect, calmness, and effectiveness. Known for his humility and low profile, even in victory. Examining how these legendary admirals compare in terms of leadership style, strategic innovation, and historical impact. Comparative. Analysis of great admirals' admiral leadership style, strategic innovation. Historical impact: Horatio Nelson, Britain. Bold, charismatic, led from the front. Inspired loyalty and morale. Aggressive tactics. Broke traditional naval formations to deliver decisive blows. Cemented British naval supremacy for 100+ years. National hero of Britain. Yi Sun-sin, Korea. Stoic, resilient, deeply respected by his men. Master of morale under impossible odds. Invented ironclad turtle ships. Mastered coastal ambushes and formations like the Crane Wing. Saved Korea from Japanese invasion. Symbol of national pride and tactical genius. Chester W. Nimitz, USA. Pragmatic, calm, diplomatic. Unified diverse Allied commands. Embraced intelligence, code-breaking, island hopping, and air-sea coordination. Architect of U.S. victory in the Pacific. Shaped modern naval operations. Isoroku Yamamoto, Japan. Thoughtful, reluctant about war with the U.S. Brilliant planner. Used aircraft carriers as dominant platforms early on. Surprise strikes. Defined early Pacific theater. Pearl Harbor brought U.S. into WWII. Raymond Spruance, USA. Cerebral, low ego, methodical, trusted. By peers like Nimitz. Emphasized risk calculation, patience, and timing. Used intelligence effectively. Decisive in Midway and Philippine Sea. Model of understated effectiveness. Influence on modern naval doctrine. Nelson's legacy. His doctrine of aggressive action remains influential in naval officer training. His focus on initiative and morale has become foundational in leadership studies. Yi Sun-sin's legacy. His guerrilla-style naval tactics and use of geography are studied in asymmetric warfare and naval engineering. Nimitz's legacy. Central. In shaping carrier-centered warfare, logistics coordination, and the concept of unified joint commands, precursor to today's combatant commands. Yamamoto's legacy demonstrated the power and limitations of surprise attacks, highlighted the strategic vulnerability of overextension. Spruance's legacy, a model for command under pressure, showed that caution and intellect can outperform flamboyance in high-stakes operations. Who was the greatest? That depends on the lens you use. In terms of inspiration and morale, Nelson and Yi Sun-sin. In terms of strategic reach and modern influence, Nimitz. In terms of tactical brilliance in specific battles, Spruance and Yi. In terms of early modernization and insight, Yamamoto. All five transformed the seas in their own way and left behind lessons that naval officers still study today.